In this video, we are going to have a look at the global project CSS, or global project styling. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and CSS allows us to control the styling of any web elements. And of course, every element in our app is a web-based component, so we can target it and style it in the global project CSS if we want. Of course, we know we can target individual control styling by adjusting some of the properties. We can set the position and borders and things like that. But if we wanted to apply styling globally throughout our app, we can do that through the Project CSS section. So to access this, we would click on Project and open Project CSS. Okay, and this opens the window here, the Project One and the CSS tab. So there's nothing in here at the moment, but we could start typing in some CSS rules, and this would apply to the overall app. So the first experiment we're going to try is to set the background color of the app to something slightly different. And to do this, we're going to target the body tag. So the body tag is on every web page. Because our mobile app is built using web technologies, it is a web page. It has an HTML body tag, so we can target that with our CSS rules. So we're going to target the body tag. We'll open our curly brackets, and we're going to specify a rule, background color, and we're going to set the color to quite a light color. So we're going to use a hexadecimal color reference. Now, if we used all the Fs, this will be white. We're going to use slightly off-white or slightly grey, so we're going to use all the Es. Have a look up hexadecimal color references if you're not aware of these yet. It's not the purpose of this video to cover hexadecimal colors, but this is just an example of how we can control general CSS and styling rules. So let's save that, and we will run the app, and this should refresh in our browser. And if we can see that, it has the background color has changed very slightly to a light gray. If we can't see that because of your screen, let's just change it, go back to our code and change it to let's say a dark gray. And as well as hexadecimals, we can actually use HTML color shortcodes or labels, and these will default to a particular color. So dark gray should be default to a dark gray color. So we'll run this in the app, and there we go. We see the app it's updated. It's a kind of dark gray app now, dark gray background. Now, I wouldn't recommend this for usability and from a design point of view, but we're just doing this to demonstrate the control that we have over a global app. So you can see if I go to a different form 2, from my menu, the background of this page is also grey. So that's highlighted how it's a global change. So I'm going to revert that. I'm going to just put that to, actually I'm just going to comment it out. Just delete that. So we can leave it there if we want to style anything on the global body. The next experiment I'd like to show, let's say I want to change the way my labels in my form display. So let's just make sure our background color has gone back to normal. Okay, so we're back to white now. So let's say I want to change these labels. Now these are Bootstrap 4 controls, text controls, so with a label or title. Now let's say I want to change the styling throughout my app. So let's say I'd built out 10 forms, quite complex input fields, and then I decide I want to change the styling globally. It wouldn't be very useful to have to go through each individual control and change its individual properties in AppStudio. So we can use the global project CSS to apply styling throughout our app. So to understand how we target these labels, we a way that we can identify or learn how we can identify these labels is to use Chrome Developer Tools. And you can see I've got the Developer Tools panel open already in Chrome. If you haven't got that open, to get it open, you can right-click on an area on the screen and go Inspect, and this will open this window. So what I want to do here, I want to right-click on this label and go Inspect, and this will highlight the relevant or the related code in the HTML. So here we can see when we hover over the code, it actually highlights the element on the page, which is useful for us. So if I scroll, you can see it's highlighting different areas. Now I want to target general labels. Now this label here has an ID, text input name, underscore header, but this is a unique ID that's unique to this label. So that's not particularly useful for us. We want a general identifier that will apply to all of our labels. And this would be in the class attribute of a label. So IDs should always be unique identifiers. Classes are more can be shared, and they define classes or categories of components. So we can actually see a useful one here, BS4 control label. BS4 stands for Bootstrap 4, because this is a Bootstrap 4 control. And control label, that seems to be quite general. And if we checked, let's check the other label, enter a comment here, right-click and inspect. We can actually see that the class on that as well, so different ID, because it's a different element, but the class is the same. So it's got the BS4-control-label class. So we're going to use that class to identify every label that we use within our app. So let's go over to our CSS, and to target that class, we would use the dot notation. So we use dots for classes, and if it was an ID, we would use the hash symbol. But this is a class, so that's the CSS rules for identifying a class. Create the curly brackets, and let's define a couple of rules. So let's change the font family. Let's change it to something like Korean New. Probably not the best choice, but we'll just do it as an experiment. And we'll change the color, the text color, to a dark red. Let's see what that does. Okay, so we'll save that and refresh the app in the browser. Okay, so we can see there that with this single rule, the single CSS rule, we have changed the styling, the font and the color. It's a bit of a dark red there. We've changed that for both labels. And if we had 10 labels or even 100 inputs throughout our app, they would all be updated consistently with our styling. So this is a very useful feature if we're trying to maintain consistent design, which is important for good user experience and maintaining usability. So if you need to apply styles globally, remember that you can use the Project Css, which is available under Project and Open Project CSS.